Hello and welcome to Tokenverse podcast series, where we bring together creators, blockchain specialists, investors, intellectuals, and experts to brainstorm the future and potential of Web3 technologies. This series is brought to you by DoinGud, an NFT marketplace which brings together people who want to do good across the world. And in this episode, we're going to discuss the subject of NFTs for photographers. And we're very lucky to have three very talented photographers here, and also Kyle Gordon from DoinGud. I'm going to start with introducing Angelica Ramirez, who is a photographer. Angelica, can you tell us about your inspiration as a photographer?
Yes, of course. Hello, hi everyone. I think my inspiration as a photographer comes from just wanting to be in a different world. I live in a small coastal city and there's a lot of retirees here. So it's very boring and I can't go anywhere. I'm just waiting, to make more money to leave. And so my inspiration comes from wanting to be in a different planet. And so all of my work looks like I'm just in a different world, at least to me.
Fantastic. So Angelica also sold out two collections of two collections on OpenSea, and also we have an interesting fact about her. She's one of 7 siblings. So yes, well done. And next, I would like to introduce Claudia Pavlak, Pawlak, right? Claudia, did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, Pawlak. I say Pawlak, but Pavlak is like the Polish way to say
it. Okay, so Claudia is also experienced in NFTs. Claudia, can you tell us about your practice?
Yeah, for sure. So my main inspirations as a photographer are Latoya Ruby Frazier, Susie Lake, Cindy Sherman, and I started doing photography kind of looking at the analog medium. So I shoot a lot of medium format film. I have one of my cameras here with me. I'm a huge film nerd. And so I definitely kind of look at photography as a way to catalog my own emotional response to the scenes, to the people around me, to the connections I'm making in my everyday life. So I definitely look at photography as like an emotional archive in my process.
Yes, and it's good to mention that Claudia has many solo and group exhibitions. And also interesting thing about Claudia is that she used to hate breakfast. But now she loves pancakes.
Yes, it's funny that you put it that way. I was just thinking about like, what fun fact can I say this morning? And, it's bright and early here in Toronto. And I was just thinking, I was someone who used to really dislike breakfast foods for whatever reason. And it wasn't until very recently that I found this love for pancakes and maple syrup, which is almost offensive that I didn't like maple syrup before because I'm Canadian. So controversy there. Yeah.
Absolutely. So if anybody wants to do business with Claudia, do it over pancakes.
Yeah.
My advice. Manish Kawalia, he's also an artist. Manish, can you tell us about your art as a photographer? Or maybe before Manish is going to tell us about his inspirations as a photographer, I'm going to mention that he works as a government audit. And also, he's, apart from photographer, he's also painting and does sketches. Manish, could you tell us about your profession as a photographer? What inspires you? What kind of photography do you do? Hello, Manish. Can you hear us okay? I don't think Manish can hear us. But I think Manish told us before that he's based in India and he's mostly photographing street life. So it's amazing to have different photographers who work with different types of photography. And then finally, Kyle Gordon, who is co-founder of DoinGud. He's an artist in his own right, but also a founder of an agency, of the art studio. And he's just broadcasting himself from his track where he's traveling from America. And that was not true. His favorite thing to do is to collect JPEGs. And Kyle, maybe you tell us what's in your art, what inspires you, and why this your inspiration for art made you join DoinGud project, perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely. So in a lot of my work, I love to recount experiences either from traveling, like memories, like childhood, friends. And through those kind of experiences, I've tried to come up with ways to connect communities with my work, and kind of bring life to creating an active sort of collaboration amongst the viewers of my work. And that's something I strive to improve on a lot. And yeah, so that kind of brought me to DoinGud, where I'm hoping to bring people together, kind of empower creators to support themselves, support others, and also like have a lot of collaboration tools at their disposal that they can use to create art together.
Thank you, Kyle. My name is Anya Pula-Majchak. I'm a journalist and filmmaker. So I used to work before I was interested in blockchain and NFTs and cryptocurrency. I used to report for Reuters, Getty Images and Vice, and mostly interviewing celebrities. So a funny and interesting fact is that when I was interviewing Justin Bieber, I managed to squeeze information from him when he was 16 that he would like to become a father, but I manipulated him. So be careful, because I might make you say something you don't want today. Okay, anyway, let's get to it. And right, Kyle, can you do your super smooth NFT definition, so just people who are not enlightened actually know what this amazing technology is about?
Yeah, absolutely. So an NFT stands for non-fungible token. Essentially, these are digital contracts or collectible assets that basically have provenance and transparency built in as they're built on the blockchain. And it allows creators basically to prove ownership of an item or something that they're creating. In this case, I guess we'll focus on artwork. And basically by having this sort of trail and this public visibility for your work, you can actually prove scarcity of digital assets. And basically what it's done is enables creators to not only be able to sell their work and prove digital ownership over scarce assets, almost like digital prints and editions and cards and collectibles, but it also provides like security, authenticity, and bakes in royalties, which basically allows creators to earn a percentage of all future sales as well.
Fantastic. That was very nice. Thank you. Manish, do you have any experience with NFTs? Have you tried creating any NFTs? Not yet.
No, not yet. I have no experience.
Excellent. Fantastic. So perhaps we'll be able to enlighten you, and you're welcome to ask any questions. So you will know more, and hopefully you'll be one of these people minting and creating NFTs straight afterwards. But perhaps, Claudia, why is photography also a good place to study NFTs?
Yeah, I think there's a number of reasons. And I think when we think of photography, it's definitely an umbrella term. Like photography encompasses so many different mediums underneath it, right? Like we have photography in like a historic cultural sense, studying photography and art history. We have the day-to-day photography, like Instagram photography, people traveling, taking photos. And we have photography that's been almost like lost in time and now trying to be archived, like for example, Alejandro Cartagena's 20th century images that he's now brought into the blockchain. So bringing photography to the blockchain is almost a very fascinating new light that you're kind of bringing it into. And it's a way to immortalize not just like the image, but a concept, a point in time. And so it's very fascinating to see kind of what blockchain does for photography.
Fantastic. Angela, from your own experience, what brought you to actually produce NFTs?
I saw my friends doing it last year. They're collage artists and had really good success doing it. And I wanted to be a full-time artist also. So I thought that I should try it out.
Great. And Kyle, because obviously the NFTs are not just pictures or not just NFTs, can you tell us about different media format that NFTs can take?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now the popular formats are JPEG, PNG, and GIF. Those are basically static and kind of moving. And as we get into video formats, popular formats are like MP4. And a lot of the stuff we've been seeing that are getting a lot of traction recently are actually interactive and coded NFTs using processing JavaScript, I believe, as well as 3D models that are actually interactive and plug into metaverse worlds. So I would say those are like the common ones. And we're starting to see AR filters as well. and like other boundary pushing mediums.
Fantastic. Claudia, do you think the NFT works as a format for all types of photography? Would you recommend to anyone?
100%. Yeah. And I think as the space continues to grow, we're going to see more platforms coming out for photography. We're going to see kind of more spaces being created to welcome different types of photography here and there. And also with that in mind, also metaverse experiences. So I think we're going to see more photography exhibitions in the metaverse. I think that we're going to be seeing a lot more as the space expands.
Manish, from you said you haven't done NFTs yet. Do you think other photographers are kind of scared of the technology, or they excited about it?
I think they must be excited about it. But I'm here in India. I know many photographers, but I think they are not. They don't know about NFT. Maybe they haven't experienced about it. So you guys have to promote it on a very large scale, so that in every part of world, every artist can know about these platforms, about NFT, and so they can take benefits of all these. Uh, so people like me here in India, like I don't know, I before this invitation, I never heard about NFT.
Wow.
Because my field of work is different. I work for government auditing. I always sit between files and all computers. So and I do photography on weekends only, or whenever I travel. So I never heard about NFT. So there are
Wow.
many photographers who do photography on weekends and whenever they get time. So I think they must know about this. So promotion of this should be on other platforms like social media, so that more people can know about this.
Great. So far, from what you heard, do you get it what the NFTs are, or shall we kind of dig a little bit deeper when it comes to just description of NFTs? We're good so far,
I'm
right?
just trying to learn what is NFT. Okay.
Excellent. And
That's
Angelica,
why I'm here.
great. Angelica, from your perspective, is the technical side difficult and overwhelming when it comes to NFTs? Should people be scared? We cannot hear you.
Oh, my bad. No, if it was hard, I wouldn't be able to do it, because the other day I couldn't even put a correct link in my link tree. I'm not technically savvy, so I think that anyone can do it.
Well, okay. Well, good. So let's be practical here. And Kyle, can you just kind of briefly tell us what is the process of creating an NFT, and then maybe we can talk about each kind of aspect of it a bit more in detail. So imagine somebody that's a photographer and they say, well, let's tell Manish how to do it. Where does he start?
Yeah, that's it's a great question, and there's many ways to do it. I would say the most common is the first thing you need is a little bit of cryptocurrency. In this case, you definitely need a little bit of Ethereum, as it basically pays the transaction fees in order to create your artwork when you mint something. It's not free. In order to maintain the network, you need a little bit of a currency in order to publish your work onto the public ledger. So basically, the common flows are people will buy the currency using a fiat on-ramp or a local currency, US dollar kind of currency ramp, where basically they can select the currency they want, pay a minimal fee, own it in a wallet or an account, and then basically the common wallet that people use is MetaMask. And basically you set up this account. It's like a Chrome plugin. It plugs into your browser, and basically you will send your currency from your on-ramp into this wallet. And then you can make an account on almost any NFT platform. Granted, they don't have gated access. And then you can basically use the currency that you just purchased in order to basically upload your work, almost like an Instagram style flow, where you'll enter the title, you'll upload the artwork itself, you'll enter a description, tags, whatever the platform has, specify your sale price, and then basically when you go to mint the actual artwork, it'll subtract a portion of the currency that you purchased in your wallet, in this case, Ethereum. That's the common flow. And as time goes on, that flow is improving drastically and getting easier and easier. I know at least on DoinGud, we'll actually be able to cut out most of that initial flow, where you'll actually be able to create and mint NFTs just by using your email, where you'll just have a link that you get in your email, and then you'll have a wallet, and you'll be able to start minting immediately with the currency Matic that we actually give you.
Claudia, when it comes to minting, how was the experience for you? Do you have any tips?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It's quite hard starting out. And I want to echo kind of what Kyle said. It's the onboarding process. It's a hill, you know, it's not an easy user experience at all. So the first time, you know, when I was educating myself, you know, what is a MetaMask wallet? I have to get crypto in this wallet. How do I do that? You know, and then how do I then connect my wallet to the platform of choice that I want to mint on? And then what does minting even mean? You know, there was a lot of questions going on in my head, but then I found talking to folks in the community, the photography community, really helped me. And talking with people who are very experienced in the space, you know, there's a lot of friendly faces in the space, so it's always great to reach out. And that's kind of what helped me, was just constantly just asking questions and talking. But I won't lie, the experience was definitely tricky.
Absolutely. And then minting is one thing, but then Angelica, you sold your collections on OpenSea. So how did the process of choosing the marketplace look for you? Why did you choose this platform?
I chose OpenSea because it provides collection aspects. Foundation doesn't. Everything just shows up on your page, on your profile page, all together, and nothing's grouped. And I don't mind that, but I think that OpenSea having the collection options, so when you go to the profile of the person, you go to the collections that they've created, you can choose one, and then once you click on it, you can see all of the photos that kind of flow together. I think they all have they're cohesive. Like anyone's collections, maybe, you know, maybe not someone, I don't know. It's a personal thing. Mine are cohesive though. And so that's why I used OpenSea. And I also use OpenSea because it's very, a lot of people don't, your creator and collectors, like the fees are high for a lot of collectors. And so a lot of people just use OpenSea.
When it comes to the platforms, Claudia, what was your experience? Is it difficult to choose?
Yeah, I started out minting on Ephemera, which is a photography platform. And then I kind of moved on to OpenSea. And I like bringing my work to different platforms and categorizing it based on the concept of the work, or kind of the theme of the work. And so all platforms they're all pretty similar once you get the hang of it. I feel like once you get over that first bump on minting your first work on whatever platform you choose, then it's familiar on each other one after that.
Kyle, from your perspective, which platforms work for which users?
Honestly, different platforms work better for different users. I think what we've seen is that there's no all-in-one solution. Every platform kind of has pros and cons, or things that they're really, really good at. You know, Foundation's really good at that, like, auction, 24-hour countdown, the simplicity, the like making the user experience really great and simple. And that's kind of it. You don't have a lot of sale mechanics or control over it. And a lot of creators like that. Whereas on the other hand, you have OpenSea, which is more of like, anyone can come, anyone can join and mint their work. And I guess Rarible works in this category as well. And it's a lot easier to get started. There's no barriers of entry. You don't need an invite. You can pick a wide variety of sale mechanics, etc. But it's a lot harder to find collectors because they're so much vaster. And so what you find on a lot of these other platforms is these gated platforms where you have the potential to make more money, also charge higher fees because they're giving you access to these collector bases to build your audience. And so what we see is a lot of creators on all the platforms, many ones, and not even just like Ethereum-based platforms, but you have Tezos as well. You have people like now on Solana too, Binance Smart Chain. Every ecosystem provides different things. Some of them are proof of stake, some of them are proof of work. And I think what we'll start to see in the next couple months is people building out all-in-one solutions, hopefully, that kind of bring a little bit of all the best features together. But definitely like accessibility, like access to like a collector base and community, and low fees and low impact is super, super important, I think, for a platform.
Where would you recommend Manish to go if he wants to create his first NFT?
Oh,
Is it a difficult question?
That depends. If I were to tell Manish to go somewhere today, right now, that's accessible and he doesn't have to apply anywhere, I would say he should check out OpenSea. I really like OpenSea. And if he were to wait a month, then I would recommend DoinGud, obviously because I'm biased, but we will have most of the features needed and you won't need as much crypto experience, if any, to actually get started on the platform.
Manish, do you have any other questions? Yeah? How are you feeling with all the knowledge you're getting so far?
Yeah, first of all, I have noted the whatever he recommends. Yeah, like OpenSea, I would like to check after the session. So that I would recommend my all friends so that they can also know what I have learned from this event, and I'm really excited that I'm part of this. Like Kylie and Claudia, the from sorry, mind my language. I'm not very you know I'm not very fluent in English.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we speak here in the language we speak here is Hindi. So
Oh, great.
sorry for my language. I'm not very fluent. Sometimes I
No, we can have a conversation. It's good, like we hope to reach people around the world. So,
yeah,
hopefully people can put themselves in your shoes and learn about how to get
yeah.
NFTs. But yeah, you should tell your friends to check out DoinGud platform.
Obviously, I would tell my all friends and my all followers on Instagram and Facebook so that they can learn about this. Because whenever they will hear about this, they will learn, because there are many platform like YouTube and Google and Quora. They can search about this. They can take benefit of this. If I would tell that this is something new in, because people like you can say that we are outdated, like like I just after you invite me, I haven't heard about the NFT. But,
Wow, yeah, that's amazing.
so you can say that I am outdated, but
yes,
like many people are here like me. So I would really
absolutely.
recommend.
Well,
I would
yeah.
really.
Well, probably if you take all
There
the
are many.
if you take all the photographers in the room in the world, probably most of them haven't heard about NFTs.
Yeah.
So this is what we are here for, to educate the world of photographers about NFTs.
Everyone's art can travel throughout the world.
Exactly.
So NFT.
And Angelica, when it comes to the resources, of course, we would like everyone to watch this video. But do you have any resources you can recommend? How did you actually learn about the process? Was it YouTube videos? Did you read something? Did you talk to people?
I wish that I had resources that I could give everyone. My friends literally held my hand through everything. All of my really good photography friends Discord with me, FaceTimed with me, taught me how to do everything. So I don't have any resources yet, but I will be compiling a list because I'm constantly getting DMs. So I'm trying to work on that. Yeah, I'm trying to work on some resources for everyone.
Do we have anything on the DoinGud website, Kyle? Or are we going to have something when it comes to resources? Like
yeah, so we'll have resources on our YouTube. We have some resources now, and we're going to have a lot more resources in the coming weeks as well for people.
This is like step-by-step guide.
Yeah, we're big on education. We want people to learn.
Good, very good. Claudia, there is another thing that we want to talk about. It's scarcity. How do you approach the subject when it comes to your practice?
Yeah, so I think having your work be scarce is a fantastic thing to do in this space. And what that means is just kind of limiting what work you put out there and like how much you're minting your work. So I think if you're definitely starting out as a photographer in the space, it's really common to mint photo series on OpenSea. I've seen that a lot. But maybe sticking to one series and then waiting a few months and then maybe minting some one-of-ones. I definitely wouldn't go into the space and be like, here are 100 photographs, one-of-ones. I'm going to try and sell them all at once. You definitely want to just start, building from the ground up. When you enter the space, it's almost like it doesn't matter how many followers you have on Instagram, on Twitter, it's kind of everyone is starting on the same foundation in this space. So you really just want to limit the work that you are minting and slowly grow yourself as an artist, talk about not just your work, but yourself, who you are. People want to know your story and connect with the community. And then that way you'll find your collectors and just keep limiting, how much you mint, I would say.
Excellent. And Angelica, you were very successful with selling your 2 collections. Can you give people advice about marketing themselves?
Yeah, just don't stop. You're the only one who is marketing yourself. You become this salesperson, a marketer, you're everything, you know what I mean? And so no one is going to push for you the way that you'll push for yourself. And also, there's a lot of ways to go about it. And I'm learning that I was kind of doing it really sloppily and actually figure out how to target your audience better. And I'm trying to learn how to do that. And one of the ways is going on to places like Foundation and seeing who's buying things that look like your work, what are they paying that price? You know what I mean? What's the starting price? What's the ending price on that? What are they willing to pay? What are they not willing to pay? Try to figure out who doesn't like your work. Like, I know that sounds crazy and maybe not you personally, but work like yours. You know what I mean? They avoid it. They don't buy it. It's just not something they're interested in. I'm sure there's things that you personally don't buy because you're not interested in. And so your work won't be falling on deaf ears and you won't be trying to put your work in front of a whole bunch of people who really will never buy it. And so that's what I'm trying to get better at. But for the most part, I think it was really luck for me and community. I have always been a strong person in the photography community before there was, NFTs and stuff like that, like being mainstream on Twitter. And then I got really into the NFT community right whenever it started, and I started in it. Not whenever it started, whenever I started in it. And so that's what I really think it was a lot of community surrounding my work. A lot of hard work, but also a lot of community.
Kyle, how are we going to make sure that people who upload their content to DoinGud feel like they promote it and seen?
That's a great question. So the way we do things is a little bit differently. We're going to be open to everyone after our beta testing phase, which will be like the first month to 6 weeks. So we will be opening our gates to everyone who wants to join the platform. And with that comes the challenge of how do you create a quality and curated experience when everyone can upload anything and everything. And so basically our solution to this is building out a featured and curated section that starts off with our platform curating, and eventually we'll open up to communities and other organizations and brands that want to come in and curate as well. So basically, when it comes to like how we promote other people, everyone has the same opportunity. It's up to the community to vote for people who deserve to be featured or the community deems should be featured. I think our approach to it is we want to remove ourselves completely as the gatekeeper and put it in the hands of the community. Obviously, if we have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of users, there's no way everyone's getting promoted because there just aren't enough days in the year, aren't enough people who can see that work. And that doesn't invalidate someone's work, and it doesn't mean that their work isn't incredible and awesome and they shouldn't keep continuing on. Their art has always been a personal journey. It's not about what other people think of it. It's not about like who's sharing your work and spreading it around. Like, I think a lot of people jump in kind of looking for people to like promote them and like take their work and like do the marketing for them. And that's actually what a curator and a manager's role does. So what I would advise any creators who are in this space and want that visibility, want that promotion, is it's a hustle. It's a grind to be visible. It's staying active with community members. It's talking to people. It's engaging. It's upselling your work. It's promoting yourself. There's no quick success or like skipping that phase. And a lot of people work at it for months and months and months on end before they start to see traction. And all I can say is don't lose heart and don't lose hope. But I think one of the important things is in the traditional art world, if you want that promotion and visibility, it comes at a cost. And usually that's a role for someone to fulfill for your work. And that will be something that we will offer on our platform through our curation and our gallery feature, where people who want to support others and promote them and earn a percentage of the artist's income will be able to do so in exchange for promoting them and spreading them to their own.
You had many shows, so I understand you've got some experience with working with curators. So when it comes to NFTs, do you also use curators? Is it a different experience for you?
Sorry, was that a question for me?
No, that was for Claudia. Claudia.
Oh, sorry, I missed that first part there. Can you repeat
Sorry,
that?
so because obviously you on your solo and group shows, you must have worked with curators, I understand. So I was wondering, when it comes to doing NFTs, do you also work with curators, or is the experience different for you in that case?
It's completely different. And that's probably the one thing I really, really love about NFTs. It's that the artist is really in power. Like we are the ones making the decisions of where we want our work. What work do we want to mint? And that's the great thing about this space, is that we are completely in control, as long as we're minting that work, and then the artist royalties will come back to us in that way. And it's a really powerful thing to be an artist in the space making work right now.
Fantastic. Manish, what type of photography would you like to publish as NFT?
Yeah, basically, the photography I do is street photography, and that is very the scope for street photography is very much in India. So I would like to publish that photography of street photography on DoinGud, and the other photography I do is portrait. Basically, I capture the emotions of other people, whatever people are doing in street, doing their work, playing with their children, and so that type of photography I would like to publish on NFT.
Angelica, your type, what you're doing is very different to what Manish does. But do you think that this subject is actually also, would work well as an NFT? How would you advise Manish to approach it? Should he also do a set of collections, or do you have any tips for him?
I think that my biggest advice is, if anyone gives you advice, is to just take it with a grain of salt and go with your gut. So if you feel like you have enough work to make a collection, then you could totally do a collection. If you don't feel like you have enough work to make a collection yet, then you could start working on that if you wanted to. But I would never force it or anything like that. I would never force anything, because then it doesn't feel right. And once it's on the blockchain, it's on the blockchain ever. And so, yeah, I mean, if you have something ready to go for a collection, then I would say go ahead. Why not, But like Claudia said, I would make it manageable. But yeah, that's my advice. Just do what feels right. Maybe make a collection on your computer, like put a collection together and see how that looks. And if you don't like it, then don't do it. And if you think that your one of ones will sell better, then sell one of ones. But there's a lot of ways to go about things. And I would look at every option you have before going through with any of them, because once it's done, it's set in stone and you can't take it back.
Yeah. So you better have a think about it. When it comes to collections you sold on OpenSea, what was the number of pieces in each of them, and what was the leading thought?
So the first one was 20 and the second one was 25. My first one I made, all of my collections are actually being made to donate. So that's my leading thought, is I can sell a mass amount for an accessible price, and with that money I can take a percentage and donate to the cause, to things that have like affected me in my life. And that's what I like about it. And they're accessible, so they sell quicker. And with foundation, it's just like a waiting game. But with my first collection, it's called A Safe Ride Home, and it's about abuse at home, like violence against women and children at home. And so those 20 photos are all photos that look like you're driving home at night. And then the second collection, I take photos of the sunrise. And it became like a habitual thing during COVID. It helps me with my anxiety and depression to go out there. And so those 20 photos, I put them all together. And initially we weren't going to donate, like me and the collectors and stuff, but my biggest collector had messaged me and told me he was just like, hey, can you donate some money to this cause? It just means a lot to me. And I was like, how about, because you're my biggest collector and you're the first one who's getting anything from this collection, I donate a percentage to your food bank, and then I'll donate a percentage to the food bank in Texas, because he lives in New Jersey, I live in Texas. And so that's what we ended up doing. But yeah, that's how I go about things.
You really hit the nail on the head here, because NFTs create this amazing opportunity here to integrate creating art and giving back. And I'm sure Kyle has to say more about that, about how you can use DoinGud platform for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So our approach to it was, a lot of platforms charge really high fees, and basically in the art world, when you get charged a high fee, it's usually because you're getting a service provided. And in this case, the platforms are providing the tech for you to do your work. And in some cases, like minimal marketing if you're going to be featured. Our approach to it was to kind of cut the fees on creators and only charge them 5%. But instead of having that 5% go into our pocket, we actually just require that minimum of 5% go to a cause that a creator can pick, and basically turn creators into activists, people that can help others. And the concept behind this is, we want to normalize social impact. That's like our goal, our mission. We want it to be an afterthought, and we want everyone to be able to support communities and others. And if just a small percentage of every single transaction went to these causes, especially with all the money that's been coming in, and as the space continues to grow, creators can not only make visual and emotional impact from their work, but actually create change for causes that they care about, and actually show that change on their profile and the impact, and use it as a reputation system, as opposed to just buying an expensive JPEG and making it their avatar. We believe in making impact part of the reputation system for someone's digital identity. So that's kind of the ethos behind it. Creators will pay a minimum of 5% in fees. And then the platform actually charges 2.5% on the collector side when buying an NFT.
But before you actually start donating, you have to earn some money from NFTs. I was wondering, Claudia, can you tell us, how do you approach the subject of pricing your work and creating the reserve bid?
Yeah, I can definitely speak from experience, and it echoes what Angel was saying earlier about kind of looking at work that may be similar in your avenue, or artists that are kind of making work similar to yours. And everyone can kind of approach this differently, but from what I did is, when I entered the space in January of this year, I was kind of looking around and there wasn't a whole lot of photography available. So I was like, oh no, I don't know where to start. And so I found a few artists that I really admired. Giselle Flores is one of them, and a few others. And I kind of based my price at 0.2 ETH. I started really, really low. And then as I sold that, I started working my way up. So I went to like 0.22, maybe 2.5, and then all the way up to 0.55, slowly, just over like a span of a few months. And so I would definitely recommend starting out in the space to keep your prices probably under 1 Ethereum. And I say that because when collectors are looking for work to invest in and artists to invest in, they really are taking, a huge risk in investing in you if the work is over 1 Ethereum, right? So as someone who's new coming into the space, my recommendation would be to definitely start low and then work your way up as you make a sale.
And Angelica, do you have any tips when it comes to pricing your work?
I agree. You know, you can start low. I started like my Genesis piece was 0.5, and then another piece, and after that I had up for like 1 ETH. But I think that if you value your work really high and you don't want to be the person who's selling their stuff for point 0.1 or under 1 ETH, you just have to be patient. Like if you're going to be that person, you have to be extremely patient. You have to be extremely involved. You have to tell people why your work is worth that much. You have to explain to them who you are. It's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of patience if you want to be that person. Like John, cannot think of his last name. He's an NFT photographer, and him and I had talked recently, and I was in his space, and he was saying I would never price my work under 1 ETH, and I will wait years until it sells if I have to, because my work is worth what I price it at. And there are pieces that I would never. I have a piece up for 5 ETH, and I don't know if it will ever sell, and I don't care if it doesn't, because if no one's willing to pay that price, that's fine, because that's what it's valued at, you know. And there's other work like my collections, they all started at 0.1 and they didn't exceed 0.333, and people appreciated that. It took time to sell the ones that were more expensive, and it took more networking and more letting people know how I got those shots. But yeah, I think that you should value yourself at whatever you think is right. You know, it would be, like I said, like once it's done forever. So it'd be horrible if you got one of your favorite photos and you were like, oh well, someone told me to. I'm not saying Claudia, you know, I'm not saying you're giving horrible advice. I'm just saying someone told me to start low, and so I'm gonna do that. I'll sell my favorite photo for $100, and then once you do it, that photo never makes it to secondary. The person who bought it wants to keep it forever, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like I thought I was gonna get a secondary sale. I thought I was gonna get more money from this. Like, what did I do? This piece means so much to me. Why did I sell it for so low? And I think that just sucks. You know what I mean? Like to not be able to make, like I said, like once it's done, it's done. So just think about everything. But I agree, like a collection is a good place to start, where you can start low and you will get the gains from it once the whole thing has sold out. And also I brought up secondary. That's something that I tell myself a lot, is that like I'll start low, like with my collections, I'll start low, and then on secondary, I'll make some more sales, and then I'll gain more from that. But because I put so much out there, I have more opportunity to make secondary sales. The less you put out, the less secondary sales are available. And so it kind of gets tricky. You know what I mean? But just always go with your gut. And there will be people who tell you, like, you're so new to this space. Who are you for even like making your prices so high? Again, take everything with a grain of salt. You know, there will be someone who sees your price and they're like, this is awful, this is so expensive, I don't know who you are. And there's someone who will see your price and say, I don't even need to know who you are, this work is gorgeous, I will pay however much money you want me to pay for it. You know what I mean? So it's a waiting game. That's what I think.
Absolutely. And Manish, how are you feeling? Are you still excited about minting and producing your first NFTs? Does it sound good?
I've surely try this. But I have to do a lot of research before that, because I had I don't have much resources, and I have very less knowledge. So I would surely like to meet, but whenever I get time apart from my job and all,
Yeah.
surely I will get help from you guys
Yeah. Great.
about my,
I actually found something. Do you have an Instagram?
so that I can meet.
Yes. Manish, do you have Instagram?
Yeah, I have.
What's your
Yes,
Instagram?
yes.
What's your Instagram, Manish? Your Instagram name?
KHANA dot BADOSH underscore Khana dot Badosh underscore.
You've got it, Angelica?
I'll get it in the end, because
We get it in the end. Maybe at the end we can share our Instagram handles in the chat, because I would love to follow all of you guys. So, but now that we're on the subject, perhaps we could also talk about like how to promote your work on social media. Claudia, where do you put your art?
Twitter is your best
in order to
friend.
be then sold as NFTs.
Yeah. Twitter is probably the best platform, best social media platform to promote your work in the NFT space. There's a lot of crypto native users using Twitter very actively, like they don't sleep. And so I would definitely say use Twitter to your advantage. Use your pinned tweet function in your profile. Upload all of your, you can upload up to like 4 images per tweet. Make a tweet in your pinned tweet with like a link tree with links to where your work is. You know, you want to make it as easy as possible for collectors to find your work. And so you want to have that actively available. I would definitely do the pinned tweet. And I would just be honestly tweeting every day just about your work, even if it's like behind the scenes and it's something you haven't minted yet. Just like show your following, your community, that you are actively engaging in the space and actively engaging in your arts practice. I would definitely, you know, sometimes you see like shill threads on Twitter, which are just basically like, you know, like show me your work, I'm looking to buy. Sometimes those can get a little annoying, but I would definitely say it's a really great way to participate in those, just to build a bit of like word of mouth marketing around your name, so that people constantly see you. They constantly see your name on the timeline. So I would definitely just keep engaging in Twitter. Instagram is also a great option, but I think that Twitter is probably going to be your best friend in the space.
Angel, what do you think?
I agree. I don't even think everything is so new. I love having these conversations. It's so funny because I'm always the one that's like, and Gigi, everything I'm saying, just take it with a grain of salt. I'm so funny when it comes to that, but it's so true. This is so new. I've reached out to so many people, everyone's advice, and it's always different. It's never the same. And I think that if you just try different things and then start narrowing down what works for you, start narrowing down what doesn't work for you. When you start getting responses to certain things, write it down. Why did you get a response? If you have collectors who are willing to talk to you about why they bought your work, talk to them about it. If they have, they're willing to talk to you about how they saw it. That's also great too. That's my thing, is like, let me pick your brain. If you don't mind me asking, what made you buy it? What made you want to 888 bought Genesis piece, and instead of giving me 0.5, he gave me 0.5888 for it. I didn't ask him, but if I was close enough to him, I'd be like, you know, why did you give me a little bit more? Do you think it was valued more? Were you just being fun and nice? You know what I mean? If you can find out why people are buying from you, I think that is the best way to continue to market. With me right now, like I said, I'm blindly going on Twitter, just throwing it up on my timeline. Some people, I read a thread earlier today and it was like, it's lazy to do that. I didn't see it as lazy. I thought it was a lot of frustrating work. I think it's almost so embarrassing to put myself out that much. But like I said before, who else is going to do it if I don't, you know? So I'm trying to figure a better solution out. But I think that's definitely your best friend. Twitter spaces, let people get to know who you are. Host them. Don't just host them about yourself. Host them about other people. You know, other artists. Connect in that way. People don't always just take towards you because of you. I don't know if that makes sense. Like when you're just talking about yourself, people kind of get like me. I haven't been in Twitter space all week because I'm tired of talking about myself. I don't have anything else to say. If you haven't heard it, I don't know. And so this week I'm actually hosting Twitter spaces and just having my friend, because she is so community based, and also because she's an amazing artist. But yeah, be about other people. Don't just be yourself. And I think everything will come together.
And just to remind the listeners that if they want to find out the Twitter handles of our speakers, they can go to DoinGud Twitter and find out about it, as well as on Instagram. I would like to, towards the end, take this conversation towards a bit of a future casting, because as you're probably aware, there has been lots of noise about NFTs when it comes to art and, you know, sports collector stuff, but there hasn't been like the massive photography NFT sale yet. And I was wondering what you think about it. Is it coming, or what's going on?
I guess my question would be, what is massive to you? Do you know about Justin Aversanos, I believe is his last name?
Okay, no, I haven't heard. So perhaps I'm not informed. So you think it's already happening?
Yes. I don't think it's a boom. Like, I don't think there's a whole influx of people searching for photographers, but there is already some groundbreaking stuff going on with the photography community and NFTs because of people like Justin. 700 ETH sale the other day, I believe. Twins Flames piece, and I think that's one of the highest sales he's had with it. He's also going to auction at Christie's with his Twins Flames pieces, you know. And so the fact that we have photography NFTs going into Christie's already, to me, is just like woohoo, you know what I mean? Like, we're making it, like, we're definitely being put on the map by people like Justin. There's Drift Shooters, and I wouldn't say Drift Shooters is up there with Justin yet, but he's definitely on the way. It's been 3 weeks, and the floor price for his latest collection is already surpassing 10 ETH, I believe. And I think he's already had over 100 ETH in total sales on that. So, you know, we're getting up there. It's really awesome to see. But whenever it comes to stuff like the Fidenzas, you know what I mean? Like, you see the Fidenzas, and it's like, oh, generative art being millions off of, you know, just those one pieces. And so it's like, will we? We will in time. I see it, definitely do.
Claudia, do you also feel that, you know, NFTs is the way to go for all the photographers?
I think it's definitely an avenue to go. Like, I love NFTs. Like, I'm someone who, I'm really excited by this technology. I'm so excited about what blockchain can do for photography, you know, for estates of photographers in art history, right? Like, to me, that's really exciting in the historical context. And so I would love to see the space continuing to grow. I'd love to see photographers from like the conventional fine art world enter the space and just see what they can do with it, because NFTs to me are an entirely different medium. You know, as photographers, we have prints, and then NFTs are an entirely separate avenue, right? And so the opportunity there to grow in that way in your artistic career is like really exciting to me. So I think that if any photographer is down to do a little bit of research on this space, like, definitely do it, because it's you know, it's growing.
Fantastic, thank you. And on that positive note, is there any questions from any of the speakers to anyone else, as we are slowly reaching the end of our session?
So, Manish, do you think that you're gonna do it? You think you're gonna do it?
Yeah, I think I must try this.
I actually follow several Indian NFT photographers, and you have a Twitter, right?
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah, I can try to get you. I can try to connect you guys. Hopefully, to me, you know, whenever I have people who are female, who are also BIPOC, I tend to feel more comfortable talking to them about things. It's a hardship out here, you know what I mean? Like, you look around and it's a lot of, I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. It's a lot of white creators that are doing really awesome. And so when you don't have people who come from your same background, it can be very intimidating. So I can put you into contact with them, and hopefully everything will be much more like smooth for you. You know what I mean? The language barrier will be real tough.
Yeah, that would be really helpful.
Excellent. We love when things like this happen.
That would be really helpful.
Excellent, fantastic. Any more thoughts? Any more questions?
Net is not working.
Fantastic.
Claudia,
yeah?
Are you going to come with anything new?
Oh yeah. I just released a series a few days ago called Serce Matki, which is Mother's Heart in Polish, and that's on OpenSea right now. I actually had a question for Kyle. I wanted to hear more about how you're going to make the onboarding process to NFTs a little bit smoother. So I know you mentioned that a little bit with DoinGud. I wonder if you could talk a bit more about that.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the first thing we're doing, it's obviously a rollout process. We have a ton of features we're trying to release in a very short window. So like the full platform, we're hoping with our vision for what it will hopefully be complete by the end of this year. But the first step that we're doing is we're integrating a solution called Magic Link, which basically creates a wallet for you using your email address. No password, no anything. You basically enter an email, or you can plug in your existing wallet. And if you choose the email route and you have no crypto knowledge, it basically sends you a link to your email. You click that link, and it signs you into your account and assigns you a wallet address on the Polygon Matic network. So that kind of removes that sort of friction. We will have credit card on-ramps as well. So people, when they're checking out, will be able to buy the crypto they need for the transaction directly from the checkout process, hopefully streamlining that as well. And in the future, we'll just be improving it, reducing fees, like making it more as seamless as possible. We'll also be working mostly in USDC coin, which is basically a stable coin that's pegged to the US dollar. So it doesn't fluctuate in price a lot. So hopefully people coming into the space, rather than having to worry about pricing their work in like ETH or like other currencies, they can at least go with one that's relatively familiar, and how they would price their work in a traditional sense that doesn't fluctuate. So if like Ethereum goes up 10% in a day, all of a sudden your work is now 10% more expensive. Maybe that's more than you wanted to spend, maybe it's less. It comes with its pros and cons, but also it will save you a lot on bookkeeping as well.
Great. Anybody else? I've got a message from Manish that his internet is not working properly, but it's okay because we approaching the end, and I would like to.
I have a question.
Yeah, you've got a question.
I have a question. I have a question for the awesome photographers we're talking to today.
Yes, go on.
What can platforms do better? Like, what if there was one tool you really wish you had on your platform of choice? What would it be that would make your life that much easier or cooler, or like make you more stoked on what's going on?
Yeah, I could speak to that real quick. So one thing that I would love to see, and I'm really about kind of like utility of the NFTs. So it's like, okay, once you mint our photograph, you know, it's now a financial instrument to like buy and sell, and it's been, you know, kind of cemented on the blockchain, and that's really cool. But then what else can we do other than that? You know, we can take it to the metaverse, we can exhibit it in a show, and that's great. I was kind of wondering, and I would love to see this, is like built-in contests in platforms, or ways to insert your NFT into like a community initiative, or like a way to kind of meet new members in the community and just like participate in something more than just like, oh, here's my NFT, like, you know, buy it. And I think that would be really, really cool, is like, okay, you know, maybe photography contests. We see a lot of those on different platforms, and I haven't seen that quite yet. I'm not sure why that's not a thing, but I mean, that's something if y'all want to tackle, like, that'd be good.
That's a very good idea, especially for the doing good, because we have this donating aspect of it, and you know we've got certain goals when it comes to different purposes that you know people will be able to spend. So it can tie into photography competition very well, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely something to keep your eyes out for. That's all I can say.
Fantastic. And Angelica, I'm sure you have some feedback too.
Yeah, it would be cool if we had like a recommended for you page for like collectors, or like tags, you know what I mean? Like kind of like an algorithm that sees what they like, what they're clicking on, what they're buying, and then puts work in front of them that is similar to it. Because it's really hard just to get work in front of people who are buying stuff that look like my work, or you know what I mean? You know, that have the same, if I can put tags, the type of tags, photography, surreal, blah, 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 and they're buying all that kind of stuff. And then on a page, they have like recommended for you, and then my work is on there, or people who, you know, they buy similar work. It's like, yeah, that would be really cool.
Great. I see that somehow Manish got disconnected completely. I would like to thank everyone for this great discussion. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Angelica. Thank you, Manish, and Kyle, of course. It's been great talking to you, and I think we succeeded because Manish is sold on producing some NFTs. We got also some great ideas. I suggest we all. Oh, here, Manish. Thank God for that. Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't worry.
Internet was not.
Yeah, we're just saying bye-bye. I was thanking everyone, and you included for your contribution.
Thank you all.
Great.
Thank you all for
excellent
for your.
Yeah.
Yeah,
go on, Manish. You were saying something.
I have all of your Instagram and Twitter handles, so whenever I would like to contact you if I need any help.
Excellent. And we would like to encourage our listeners to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. You just have to go to DoinGud.
Yeah.
And I encourage everyone to join us next week when we're going to be speaking about NFT for sports stars and their funds, which is going to happen at same time, same day next week. So I hope to see everyone then. And until then, thank you so much, everyone. Have a great weekend. It's been great talking to you. Bye bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye.